Welcome to another episode of Pit Lane Parlay.
And welcome to another episode of Pit Lane Parlay. Again, my name is Mike Jokum. With me, I have my trusty co-host, Jess Baker. And our first driver guest of 2018 is none other than the 2017 Verizon IndyCar Series champion, Josef Newgarden. Joseph, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to be on. Thanks for letting me join you guys today.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool when you can say your first guest, that is a driver is the 2017 champion. How has the off season been? Do you get any rest, or has it been constant meetings and trips and appearances?
It's really been an adjustment for me the last year, just because, joining Team Penske last off season was a real shift. I was used to being busy. I was definitely busy at Ed Carpenter Racing and the teams before that. But when you join Team Penske, there's so many partnerships and relationships that you really got to be up to speed on and really helping the team work on that. You're kind of all over the place. So you have that element that you're dealing with. And then certainly with the championship and us being able to secure that last year, that really brought everything up a notch too. And we've been busy with a lot of stuff from that side. So yeah, I'm always traveling. I'm always trying to explain what I'm doing. I'm normally at conferences or, speaking at an event or meeting with one of our partners. That's normally what I do when I'm on the road. But there's some fun stuff that gets sprinkled into. Like I got to go to Nashville a couple weeks back and watch a Predators game, see my friends at Firestone. So stuff like that. So you get kind of stuff all over the place, but it's busy. It's busy. And then, we're trying to fit in the work for the new season too. So I'm trying to get to the shop and work with the engineers and make sure that we're going to be ready to go for 2018.
Yeah. The Predators game thing looked pretty awesome. As a big hockey fan myself, I've, been to Nashville a handful of times, walked by the Bridgestone building, but that looked real cool.
Yeah.
Jess, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, so Joseph, if you have not listened, I'm kind of the one who does the comic relief. So my questions are not going to be anything related to racing whatsoever.
You're the fun one then.
Yes, I am the fun one. So my first question for you is, what is your spirit animal?
Oh, my spirit. That's a great question. My spirit animal. I'm pretty sure I've answered this multiple times before, but I don't remember what I said last time. If I was going to have a spirit animal, I'd want to be something. I'm pretty sure I told someone I wanted to be like a velociraptor one time.
Okay,
and that's,
okay.
That I don't even know if that counts, but we've got Jurassic Park coming back in strong in the movie game. So I'm going to go with like a velociraptor.
I like it.
Jess, great question to start off here. All right. Well, since I'm the non-fun one, I'll stick with the racing questions. You mentioned kind of getting to the shop to, get the 2018 car ready. And I've seen a little bit about what you said online, but, is there any data from the last couple of years in the Aero Kit era that you can bring into this new universal Aero Kit? Or are you guys, mainly starting from scratch?
Yeah, we're really, it's really going to depend. So whenever I talk about the new universal kit, it really, what I tell people is it depends on the track that we're going to go to next year. So, if you're talking street courses, I think they're going to change drastically. I don't think we're going to be able to rely on too much from what we've had from a setup standpoint in the past. And then as you go into road courses, it's really going to be a mixed bag. If you go to a low downforce road course like a Road America, I think a lot of what we've done last year will still apply because the actual aero numbers are not that different on a low downforce track. But a high downforce track, you're looking at a place like Mid Ohio or Barber Motorsports Park or Sonoma, those places will change quite a bit. There's less aero that we can produce on the car from a downforce standpoint. And so that will change a lot. And then as you get into the ovals, it's mixed again there too. The short ovals, I think, are going to be completely different. You're going to need totally new setups. You're going to be braking now in the corners. Definitely as the tires wear out, you're going to be braking. But on a high speed oval, the speedways like Indianapolis Motor Speedway or Pocono or Texas, I think you're not gonna change that much. So those great races that we've had, like at the Indy 500 over the last 5-6 years, I think you'll still have those, and a lot of the setups will actually still work and apply like they have in years past. So this is just me talking before we've even gone through the year, but I think it's really going to depend. I think some stuff will work, some stuff won't, and it's going to be our job to figure out what those pieces are or aren't.
Sure. No. Oh, that's awesome. Jess, go ahead.
So Joseph, what is your 90s jam song?
Oh, my 90s jam song. I'm more of an 80s guy. Like, if you ask me,
80s jam song.
Yeah. Oh man, I need to I'm really bad at remembering stuff. So I have like tons of compilations on like 80s playlists. I'm almost trying to stall so I can look this up in my phone because I don't have one particular song, but I'm telling you, I have this like total love for 80s music. So I don't know, like some old school Elton John or something like that, or
Please tell me you wear the sunglasses when you're jamming to Elton John.
I don't, but I look ridiculous in my car when I'm singing to Elton John. So. Yeah, I like weird stuff. Like I like Phil Collins. Like I don't even know if that's okay to like Phil Collins, but I love that type of music.
Listen, I grew up listening to Phil Collins before I was old enough to discover my own music, so I can't knock that one.
Right,
dude, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Like In the Air Tonight, I'll rock the heck out of that song.
I'm pretty sure that was on my YouTube this morning as I got my day started here. So, I certainly understand. Hey, so going back to, the new car, when you guys test at Phoenix in a couple weeks here, I know that was one of the, short ovals that could, drastically change. Will you guys run in traffic to kind of get a feel for how the race is going to be, or do you think guys will be a little bit more conservative and just kind of get a shakedown of the car?
No, I think you'll see a lot of people running in traffic. Normally what we've had happen is the morning time will generally, work on qualifying stuff. I think when we first get there, everyone's going to just try and find their footing and understand what the car's doing, make sure that they're comfortable with the car before they get in traffic. That's normally more difficult to do. You really want to be, confident and comfortable in where the car's at and underneath you. So the morning time, or I think it's early afternoon, we'll mostly work on that stuff. But then as we get to like the evening sessions, you'll definitely see people running with each other a lot, just because we have to figure that out before the race. We have to run together, see what the car is like, see what it's going to need. So I think you'll just see for both days, you'll see split mentalities where, the early afternoon we're working on qualifying stuff. And then at the nighttime, we'll probably work on racing stuff.
Sure. Jess?
All right. So you are stuck on a deserted island.
Oh, no.
What is one item that you would like to have?
Well, I mean, for me, I think food is critical. So you're not a hunter scavenger. Yeah. I mean, I could, I need to have like a spear. I think if someone gave me a spear, I don't know if I could create one on the island. So I would need a spear to go fishing because I love seafood. So yeah, I would probably ask for a spear or some sort of object to kill things with.
All right.
I can't knock that one.
No, not at all. Because I don't know if I could build a spear either.
I think maybe in the Poconos we'll have to go into the woods there and
try it.
Find a spear to hunt with.
Yeah, I've not had a ton of experience. You got to know, like, what is this island really supplying you with? Like, you almost want to know the background on the island before you can commit to an item. Because I mean, like maybe it has materials to build a spear. If it does, then I want to change my answer. You know, you just never know.
That's true. You don't.
That is the best answer to that question I think I have ever heard in all of the years you've heard people be asked that question anywhere. Switching gears, going back to, your Indy Lights run in 2011, how important is Indy Lights and the Mazda Road to Indy to a driver's overall development? And do you think does it give any sort of advantage over maybe a guy coming over from, F2 or F3 or any of these European series?
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps a lot, particularly when you get to the Indy Lights level, so say you trained in Europe on the lower ranks and then you're ready to get to like the Indy Lights level. I think when you come over here and run that championship, it's really beneficial to getting into IndyCar, just because of the obvious things. I mean, you're going to be running on the same tracks. IndyCar is very diverse. You've really got to get into the mentality of switching back and forth between road, street, and oval tracks. It's harder than it looks. I mean, you really got to understand how to flow throughout the year with your driving style, your setup preferences. They're very, very different. So you're not going to get that in Europe where you can just bounce back and forth between these very different racetracks. And I think Indy Lights, it provides that opportunity and kind of culture where you can learn about that. And so you can't replace that. I think it's tremendously beneficial. I think guys that go through that type of program have an easier time transitioning into IndyCar. It's not that you can't come straight to IndyCar. I just think you're going to have a quicker transition. So there's definitely positives to trying to go up through the road to Indy route than just coming over from Europe.
Sure. Yeah. And I know even, for those out there that don't know, Josef even lapped the entire field at New Hampshire Speedway towards the end of the season, which I think has either never been replicated or was only replicated one other time, depending on what website you look at.
I don't know. I forgot about that, but I guess that did happen, but I'm sure it's been done before. It just depends on the race and how many people are in the field and stuff like that.
Yeah, some of the Indy Lights records are a little tougher to find, scrolling through the internet. But Jess, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. So Josef, switching gears a little bit, not quite as funny, I guess, but if you could go back and be born as any person in any time in history, wow, who would you pick and why?
These are great questions. I wish I could think about these because they're awesome questions, but you need some time to reflect. They're great. Like these are really thought provoking questions. Anybody? Oh my gosh! At any time. I mean, I wouldn't mind going back as like Abraham Lincoln and like getting, and being born in his time frame just to see the world in that era. I mean, that would be fascinating. But then again, it would be so neat to go back as like, I don't know, Julius Caesar and like see the world at that time with the Roman Empire and everything. Like there's a lot of time periods you could go see. I would say probably one of those two would be my preferred ones.
I think if I had to pick out of those two, I'd probably go with Caesar because that would be pretty cool to go back and see what it was like when Rome was at its height. You know
what? What else would be good is I'd love to go back to like the 40s or 50s, like the late 40s, early 50s. Like I really think everything was just a great time in the world because technology was evolving, but it wasn't at a point to where it was like super invasive in your life. So it just seemed like such a happy time to be alive, especially in America. So I'd probably say like the early 50s too.
Ooh,
yeah, that would be cool.
Especially with how different, racing was back then with multiple chassis and 65 people trying to get in the Indy 500. I've heard the stories about it from, my dad and my grandpa, but, to be able to witness that or, even more locally, Trenton Speedway or Langhorne Speedway, which are now just, shopping centers, but would be really cool to see.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I'd love to see that too.
What are your thoughts? I know IndyCar and, Jay Fry have done an amazing job on the oval qualifying, slight tweaks. I saw many drivers come out and say how great it was. Curious is if you agree, disagree.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was one of the people pushing Jay aggressively to make that change. And I think Jay, Jay gets it better than anybody. He wanted it too. So, for us on the driving side, we just didn't want a lottery system to really dictate where you're going to qualify. It's the old procedure was basically pulling a piece of paper out of a hat and seeing what number you were. And it's just, it was kind of hokey. Like it's been done in racing, but we just thought there should be some performance behind where you qualify. And, that's really, really important on short ovals, because if you go first on a short oval, you're getting crazy penalized. It's very, very difficult to qualify and pole when you go out first. And then it's kind of the same story on the Indy qualifying points. It was almost too much of a reward for, you're basically giving someone a race worth of points when the field's going to be quite a bit larger and people that are in the championship are in it. So we didn't see that as something that was fair. And people are still going to go for it. They're still going to try and get the pole just because it's the Indianapolis 500, and that's never going to change.
Sure. Yeah, no, I completely agree about the 500. I thought it was ironic that, thankfully he was okay, but Scott Dixon finishing in 33rd or 32nd place, ending up with more points than somebody who finished up in 10th place because of how he qualified. So I found that pretty interesting, but I'll turn it over to Jess here.
All right, Joseph, you get one superpower. What do you pick and why?
For me, it would be teleportation. I just want to be able to teleport wherever in the world at any given time.
That would be nice.
Did you ever see that movie? I think it was Jumper, or it wasn't. I think it was Jumper. It wasn't Looper. I think Looper was a different concept. But there's this. I think it was Jumper, and the guy could just literally teleport wherever at any given moment if he had been in that location before. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. It'd be the greatest superpower in the world. You
are correct. It is the movie Jumper.
Perfect. Good. I thought I remembered that correctly. I couldn't remember.
All right. Yeah, I like that. I would definitely do quite a bit more traveling if I could teleport.
Definitely. It'd be easier.
Save me some airfare costs too.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Hey, so obviously 2017 is a career year and one to remember. But if you had to pick out one moment outside from winning the championship, whether it be the pass at Gateway for the win late in the race, or winning another race, or even something else, what is that one moment that you'll look back on years from now and go, that was a hell of a year?
Well, I really enjoyed 2008 because I got the opportunity to go over and race in the Formula Ford Festival in England. And if you're into European racing, then most people know about the Formula Ford Festival, and it's always been such a big event. And guys like Michael Schumacher, Ayrton Senna, like that was the event that they would go and run, and it was a big deal if you won that race.
Sure.
And there's not been a ton of Americans that have competed in it. There's some, but there's certainly been no American winner before. And so when we went over in 2008 at the end of the year, I was lucky enough to win the race. So it was just, I thought that was so cool. They were very nice to us over there. It was the first time I'd been out of the country racing, and it was a really big deal. I mean, to me personally, I thought it was so much fun, and it was a big achievement to be able to go and run with those guys, and first time over in a different country, win that type of race. So I just enjoyed that. I thought it was a good springboard for me to go compete over there for a couple of years. And it was a super fun time in my life, with racing.
Sure. Jess?
Okay, so you are throwing a dinner party now.
Ooh.
And you get to invite 3 people from history, dead or alive.
Okay.
Who would you pick?
From history, you mean so they got to be historical, or it's just it doesn't matter any time frame? It could be any people.
It doesn't matter. It could be any time frame.
Okay. Well, I'd probably pick, I'm really into cinematography and movie production. So I'd probably pick Christopher Nolan, who's my favorite director. Someone like Ron Howard, I'd invite him too. And then I don't know, I'd pick an actor, or I could bring Scorsese too. There you go. Then you got like 3 great movie makers. So I'd bring I bring those guys. Scorsese would be the third.
That's awesome. That's telling. You definitely gave away a hobby there.
Yeah, I'm into it. I think it's fun. I enjoy the work that people do. When they make great pieces and good movie making. So I've always been a fan of that industry.
Has there been? Yeah, I'm sorry, Jess. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's amazing how a good movie just takes you completely out of reality.
Yeah, that's the idea of it too. I think for a lot of those guys, they want to, kind of transport you for a couple hours in your life and make you feel like you're somewhere else in, a different time or a different setting.
Yeah, it's great.
Has there been if you've had a free moment, a movie in the last year that you've seen that's kind of your favorite?
Oh, it's the same for this. I've seen a lot of new movies. American Made was pretty cool. New Tom Cruise movie is really well made. It was an interesting story. It's based on a true story too, about this pilot that was working with like the CIA and also the drug cartel down in South America. And it's just super interesting the way they made and told that story. So I liked that. I liked Dunkirk because it was different for Christopher Nolan. He hadn't done like a war type movie before, so I enjoyed that. So yeah, I would say those are 2 of the recent ones I've seen.
Cool. So going back to 2017, probably my personal favorite race of the year. In Pocono, your power with your battle with willpower, the last 20 laps of the race, it was tough to see going into the long turn 3. How close were you to being able to pass him, or how intense was that battle for the last, I think it was 15 or 20 laps of the race?
Yeah, it was intense. I mean, I was certainly trying to get by Will, but I just did not have the speed that he had. And it was more difficult than it looked. People saw me getting really, really close as we approached turn 2. And then, I would try and pop out, especially to the outside, because Will was constantly protecting the inside, which was fine. I just did not have enough speed. Every time I popped out on him on the outside, it was not enough to fully clear him before turn 3. So if you can't do that, then you're putting yourself in a very difficult position. I'd have to really force the issue in turn 3 to pass him. And I thought it was too much risk at that time. And, to me, Will had the faster car. So, trying to maintain where we were and not let Alex get more into the mix, that was really what I was trying to do. If I could get Will, I was going to do it. But with the way he was protecting, I would have had to force the issue too much into turn 3. And I didn't think the risk was worth it with, where we were sitting as a team standpoint in that race.
Yeah, for sure. That was definitely, since you guys have been back at Pocono, I think the, best race overall, but that battle there at the end is one, everybody is still talking about, and it was, 6 months ago. Jess?
Okay. So kind of want to know, are you a handyman? What was the last thing that you had to fix?
Oh.
Yeah, a little bit. I get quite a bit of help around my place. I just got a place last year. I got a townhouse now. It was the first place that I've owned. And I'm pretty good with electronics. Like if there's anything that I got to sort out with TVs or speakers or stereo systems or something like that, I can normally figure it out and get it going. But like carpentry work, I have not done much carpentry work in the last year. So I normally get someone that's much better at it than me to sort it out. I could just fix little stuff like, if like a light's broken in the ceiling, like I can fix it, or, I don't know. I don't even know what I've done recently. I've done some stuff in the garage. Like I had to put some shelves up. So I've done that, but that's, pretty much the extent of what I'm doing. I don't normally I hire some pros that are way better at me than this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am the worst handyman on the face of the earth, to the point where, we just moved into a house a couple months ago, and my wife does all the IKEA building or furniture putting together, and I sit in the other room and do the technical stuff.
Yeah, see, the tough for me is like I could probably do most anything. Like I think I could figure it out, but I just get so particular that, I know if I'm not going to do something well, then I don't want to do it. Like I'd rather have someone that can do it really well, that I know is way better at me at it, then I'd want them to come do it. So that's why I don't venture too far. Like I'll build furniture. Like if I got to move stuff, it's fine. Like, any little things, but you're talking about like building something out in like, if you wanted a pantry and you wanted it built out, like I'm not going to do that. Cause I know if I do it, it's going to be mediocre to subpar.
Hey, at least you're honest about it and you don't try. I did the same thing when I owned a house. If I needed something major done, I just called in a professional. It was way easier and I wanted it done right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the great thing about technology is you can log on to something like Facebook and go to your town's Facebook group and go, who can help me with this stuff? Because I know I won't be able to change out a ceiling fan downstairs, but I can pay somebody to do it and I won't get yelled at for doing it.
Or electrocuted.
Yes.
It's true. It's true. Technology, there's one of the benefits of it.
So what do you think of, how great is it that we have, 4 new IndyCar teams this year? We have Carlin and Harding full time, and then Michael Shankin and Juncos, part-time, but, running a good bulk of the schedule. Do you think there are going to be more teams to potentially come, and how wary should the field be of Trevor Carlin?
Oh, I think they should be very wary of Carlin in particular. I think they'll be a very strong team, a very legitimate team. Like they're going to give everyone a run for their money once they find their footing and they kind of understand how everything works. They're going to need a little bit of initiation time, but I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't take much. They should be, able to get going pretty fast. So yeah, that's Carlin. And then you think about the other groups. The nice thing is I think they're all prepared to grow with the series. So it's not like, they're just coming in for a little bit of time and then they're going to go away. I think they all seem like very serious team owners that want to be a part of the series for the future. So if you have 4 new owners, that's a big deal. I mean, that's a lot of team owners that are coming in that are committing to the series and committing to figuring it out. So I'm excited about all of them, but for sure the Carlin organization, they're going to be a serious threat, I think, within, a couple years.
Yeah, I know almost half the field, if not more than half the field, has even raced for Carlin in some venture at some point in their racing careers, which is a pretty amazing stat. Yeah.
They've really had a lot of the top line drivers in the world compete for them, mainly in Europe. Formula 3 was kind of their big thing 10 years ago, and they've been the best at that in British Formula 3. And so they've seen most of the guys come through that. But, they branched out. They started doing Formula Renault 3.5, and they had a lot of guys come through that. And then obviously they do GP2, GP3 now. So they have a lot of programs, and they've just had a lot of good guys, both on the IndyCar and Formula 1 side, that have been through their organization. So they're the real deal. If you're talking about a junior team, it's very much like a Sam Schmidt type operation. The Schmidt-Peterson team. Sam Schmidt he just had his lights program, and then you can see what he's done in IndyCar now. He's a legitimate organization, and I think you'll see the same sort of deal with Carlin very soon.
Jess?
All right. So this is kind of a random one, but what villain do you feel bad for?
Oh, what villain do I feel bad for? I don't know that I don't have anyone off the top of my head. Like I don't have anyone that I truly feel bad for right now, but I'm sure there's someone. Like if I watch something, I'll be like, he's probably getting the rough end of something right now that he doesn't deserve, but I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
Jess, do you have an answer to that one? I'm with Joseph. I have no idea off the top of my head on that one.
I mean, it's not like a villain per se, because he ends up turning into a good guy, but the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, because first he's kind of a villain, and you got to kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, I think once you see his good side, so I guess he's a villain. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I would say, well, Disney's so good at making their villains lovable. So,
aren't they? I love Disney.
Yeah, they rock. I'm a big Disney fan as well. But I would agree with you. I think the Beast, that's a good choice. I was thinking of I think you meant like a true villain that's like never turns good, but you kind of like him. I don't know anyone then.
Yeah, I don't know either. But the question's open. So
I guess I would go. This isn't Disney related or a movie, but from a TV show. Omar from The Wire is pretty much a villain, but in the end, when he spoiler alert, gets shot and killed, you do feel bad for him. And if either of you guys haven't watched that show, I highly recommend it on some flights or some downtime.
Yeah, I haven't, and I've heard it's like the greatest show ever. So that's a good point. I need to watch that at some point.
Yeah, I get in trouble because I watch it once a year, the entire series.
Really?
It's that good, and I only started watching it because my mom bought me season 5 for Christmas in college, and I went, I'm not going to start with season 5. I'm going to start from the beginning.
You watch the entire thing over every year.
Once a year, usually. I think we're coming up on that time of year. Usually, February, March, I start it, and I get through it by before the summer, and I repeat it every year.
That is so
it must
fascinating.
be good.
I mean, that's got to be a damn good show if every year you're like committing to rewatching it. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've read The Wire blogs and stuff that authors have written to find little Easter eggs in the show and various foreshadowing clues, and I am fully bought into understanding every aspect of that show, and
that is amazing. I've never heard that, but I love that. I've heard it's good, so I'm gonna watch it at some point.
Yeah, The Wire and The Office, because I went to college in Scranton, and Parks and Rec are shows that I have watched yearly, especially The Office because it's such a good comedy.
Yeah, that one I totally agree on. The Office is an easy one to binge at any point.
And I like seeing hearing various names in the show or seeing landmarks and I used to walk by there every day when I went to class.
That's too funny.
It's got a cool personal touch, and Anyway, back to a racing question here, and I'm not sure if you know the answer, but I saw yesterday or the day before Hitachi signing on to be your primary sponsor for 8 races. Do you know primary sponsorship for the other? I guess it's 10 total races. Is it primarily the same as the past season?
Good question. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure 100%. I don't think we've announced what we're going to do on the other races yet. So I'm going to leave that to the team and make sure I don't get in trouble. But I think we've got something sorted out. Penske's, they're normally pretty good at making sure we're all covered. And I know we're going to be sorted out on that car. So we just have to wait and see. Hopefully we announce something soon.
Yeah, sure. Jess?
Okay, man, I've got the most random questions. But anyways, what would be the funnest thing that you can think of to fill a piñata with?
Wow.
Oh, man. It can be anything.
It can be anything.
Man, I'd fill it with sweet tart ropes or something like that. 'Cause I'm a sucker for sweet tart ropes. Or popcorn, a great popcorn would be cool. I don't think anyone's thought about that.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have thought of that one.
What else? I don't know. You could fill it with cookies. Cookies would be fun. I'd be all about some cookies. You need to be gentle on them so you don't crush them up too much. But
yeah, that would be kind of. You'd have cookie crumbs probably.
Probably. What if you filled it with something weird like Subway sandwiches? That would be an odd thing to fill a piñata with. I don't know that it'd be the most fun thing, but it'd be strange.
It's funny is
it'd be a big piñata.
Yeah.
To bring out the Philly boy in me, I was going to say a Philly cheesesteak, but that might get kind of messy.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about they're wrapped. I would say they're wrapped.
Okay.
You're getting Firehouse subs or something like that. They're all wrapped up still.
Oh.
All right, let me see here. What race, going into 2018 with the new aero kit, are you, most excited for in general, outside of the Indy 500?
I'm always a fan of Road America, so I'm excited to go back there. And I think we have a good car around there, and it was a great race. Like, for me, that was a very fun race to be a part of, was Road America. So that's at the top of my list. But everywhere, everyone asks me what's my favorite track, and it's hard to have an answer, just because we go to so many different types of tracks, and they're all pretty unique and different, and they're all fun in their own way. So, next year is going to be a real challenge. I mean, everywhere is going to be you're going to get out a new notebook and, rewrite notes for everywhere you go. So there's not many places I'm not excited for, but Road America is always at the top of my list.
Yeah, I was thinking back to one of my earlier questions about, setups from the previous Aero Kit era. Will you pull out, or will the teams pull out any notes from, the pre-Aero Kit era, the beginning of the DW12, maybe 2011, 2012, to kind of get some ideas, or is that probably not going to happen?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, we most likely will. We'll pull out some notes and sort of look at what the car was like. Some of it's applicable, some of it's not, but it's good to refresh your memory and kind of see what the car was like in that era. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, we do that. And I'm sure a lot of teams will be looking at their notes from that era.
Jess?
Okay, so now you have a very large block of cheddar cheese, weighs about 400 pounds. What are you going to do with it?
Oh my gosh. a block of cheddar cheese that's 400 pounds. What am I going to do with it?
Yeah, what are you going to do with it?
I'd probably make a party and say, hey, I got a cheese party going on, and everyone needs to come help me eat this cheese.
I'm thinking put it in a pool and melt it and make the biggest thing of queso ever for a party. I mean,
you better make sure that pool does not have chlorine in it.
Well, no water in the pool, empty pool.
Oh,
empty
okay,
pool.
Okay,
and then you just put the cheese in there and melt it, because I can't think of anything that could handle 400 pounds of cheese other than a pool. I mean, that's a big chunk of cheese.
That's a lot of cheese. You're gonna need a lot of help to eat that cheese. I mean, you got to have a cheese party. I don't know how else you handle it other than that.
I think we.
I do like it. Yeah.
I think we found the title to today's episode: Cheese Party.
The Cheese Party.
There you go. That's right.
That's a good movie title. So, Jess, I'll turn it over to you again.
All right. So, wrapping up, because we have kept you for quite a while, what is the most random fact that you know without having to Google it?
Gosh, these are all, I don't have straight up answers for any of these things. Yeah, I don't know. Elephants never forget. You gotta know that, guys.
That's so true.
Anything else? I don't know. I don't have any random facts. This is a great question. I love people that have answers for these immediately. They're just like, oh, hey, yeah, this. Did you know beluga whales reproduce 4 times a year? People will say there's people you can meet when you ask them that question, and they'll have the most absurd facts, and they're just ready to go. I'm not that person. I don't, but I know people that are like that, and it's really funny.
So listen, before we wrap it up here with one final easy question, your pick for the Super Bowl match and who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, great question again. Well, I think the Patriots are going to be in it. That's no doubt. They will be there, and I think they'll probably win it, to be honest with you. Who are they going to match up against? I don't know. Who do you think who do you think's going to make it there?
So, listen, the Eagles fan in me is obviously going to say the Eagles. But I think the NFC championship game is going to be, one of the better, or if not best, games of the 2018 playoffs here. Both teams have an interesting story at quarterback and great defenses. So I hope the Eagles win, but I could see it going either way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of already bummed because my Titans got knocked out, which was, expected. I figured they were going to get crushed, and they did. So I'm kind of, I don't even mind at this point. I just want to see a good game. That's what I look forward to now is just seeing a good game on the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, for sure. So listen, we won't hold you up any longer here. You've been an amazing guest for the last 40 minutes or so. So listen, again, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed being on the show, and best of luck going into 2018, and we'll both see it out at the track at some point.
Hey, I enjoyed this a lot. Thank you, guys. It's good to meet you over the phone.
Yes, you too. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
See you now.
All right, bye. And thank you again to Josef Newgarden for joining us here.